Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content and it's time for some fragrance reviews. For today I've prepared 3 fragrances from my perfumes and their higher end up line of fragrances that's called Arabiyat Prestige. All 3 of them have fantastic quality and all 3 of them come really nicely packaged. The fragrances that I'm going to review today, 2 of them come from the Hypnotic line and are called Hypnotic Oud and Hypnotic Amber, and the third one is called Aariz. One thing I forgot to mention is the fact that all 3 fragrances that I'm reviewing today are actually heavily inspired by some very famous niche scents. And the first one that I'm going to talk about will be Aariz. This is the box of Arabiyat Prestige Aariz. As you can see, it comes in this 3-colored box, golden, black and white accents. The concentration here is EDP, the bottle size is 100 milliliters. This is the bottom part of the box and here you can check out the production date, which is June of 2023. And then this is how the actual bottle looks. As you can see, it has a very interesting design. The color combination here is golden color with sort of a creamy white color. It's quite heavy in hand, again 100 milliliter bottle size, and the cap is a snug fit and it's metal. As you saw, the packaging, the whole presentation is really nice when it comes to Aariz. The next thing, of course, that I'm going to talk about will be the actual scent of this, but first let me show you the spray in action because it's absolutely fantastic. I really love to see, love watching those, those sprayers in action. This fragrance is a clone of Bulgari's Tiger, also can serve as a great alternative to Suspiro Vibrato, and actually to my nose this feels like somewhere in between those 2 original scents. The fragrance opens up with a heavy blast of the citrusy notes in this one. You get quite a lot of freshness, you also get quite a juicy grapefruit note that doesn't feel overly sweet to my nose. There's some amber sweetness in the opening, some spiciness, quite a bit of woodsy notes as well in the opening in here. But it just doesn't feel like it's too sweet. It's a very bright, very uplifting, very fresh opening that feels maybe a hint of green somewhere in the background, and that's what makes it different compared to Tiger. Tiger opens up a little bit sweeter with a sweeter, juicier grapefruit note and more ambery sweetness, whereas Aariz is actually feels a little bit fresher and slightly greener, maybe even a hint more woody. When this goes into the dry down, of course you're losing some of the freshness from the opening. The dry down becomes a little bit sweeter, the ambery sweetness kicks in a little bit more on the dry down, it becomes more woody on the dry down, and also you still retain some of the spiciness. Again, on the dry down feels maybe a hint more woody compared to Tiger itself. All around it's done really nicely. It's a very fresh, very masculine fragrance that smells absolutely fantastic in the air. And I've always said this, but the original scent has always been one of my most favorite masculine, scents as a whole. When it comes to how close this fragrance is to the original, I would say very close, but again with a few minor differences. This just feels a little bit fresher, feels a little bit greener, and then on the dry down feels a little bit more woody. But again, in the air smells very similar to Tiger itself. Performance wise, it's a strong fragrance that's been giving me about 8, maybe 8.5 hours of performance with quite nice projection in the first up to 2 hours. So performance wise, absolutely no issues with Aariz. The next thing is the price, of course. This is a little bit more expensive than your usual cone fragrance. At least around here in Europe, this tends to cost somewhere between 45 to 55 euros, which makes it a bit on the pricey side in my opinion. You get great quality in return, you get very good performance, but still it feels a little bit pricey. And then versatility wise, a super fresh masculine fragrance that can be worn pretty much all year round for any type of occasion, so versatility wise this is a king. The next one that I'm going to talk about will be Hypnotic Amber. And then this is the box design of Arabiyat Prestige Hypnotic Amber. Comes in this again tri-colored box, golden accents, this sort of a creamy white color and reddish color with that gemstone thing here on the box itself. 100 milliliter bottle size, EDP concentration. The production date, if anyone is interested, is April of 2024. This is the way that the bottle of Hypnotic Amber from Arabiyat Prestige looks. As you can see, it has a very interesting design. You get this gemstone thing in front of it that you also get on the box itself. The caps are huge and they're a snug fit, and the bottles have really nice quality and really nice heft. As you saw, another great presentation, another very nice and luxuriously looking bottle. And again, I'm going to show you the sprayer in action before talking the scent itself, because this is another pressurized sprayer that feels absolutely fantastic. This fragrance is sort of a clone or a twist on Creed Aventus / Nishane Hashivat. It feels similar to both fragrances, but at the same time feels quite different to both of them, to be honest. Opens up very fresh, very green, very aromatic. You get a bit of a fruity sweetness / freshness in the opening of this fragrance, but it doesn't smell, you know, too fruity or as sweet as both original ones. This feels just feels greener, feels more aromatic, feels fresher in the air compared to the original scents. You get absolutely none of the smokiness of Creed Aventus in the opening. You get a bit of spices, some woodiness out of it, and just feels mossy, which makes it somewhat similar to to Nishane Hashivat. When you go into the dry down, you lose some of that freshness. It becomes a little bit more woody, because becomes more mossy, and also becomes a bit sweeter. On the late dry down, this is where it actually becomes quite a bit sweeter, thanks to that ambery sweetness, like the name would suggest. All around, this is a very interesting take on the original DNA of Creed Aventus and Nishane Hashivat. Again, feeling similar to both of them, but at the same time just feeling like it's doing its own thing. It's very nicely blended, again, super high quality, and all around, again, a very interesting fragrance. Scent-wise, how close it is to the original ones, as I said, it feels like a mix between the two, but like another part added to it, like a Middle Eastern part added to it. That spiciness, that freshness just adds a bit of a Middle Eastern touch to the DNA of the original fragrances. In the air, it actually smells pretty similar to both of them. Performance-wise, good performer, somewhere between 8 and 9 hours of performance, with nice moderate projection in the first up to 2 hours. So again, no issues with the performance of this one. Price-wise, this is a little bit more expensive than Aariz. Here in Europe, this tends to cost somewhere between 55 to 60 euros, which makes it one of the more expensive clone fragrances that you can get, something that I don't necessarily like that much. And versatility-wise, another super versatile fragrance that's very masculine and can just works all year round, will get you compliments, and can be worn for pretty much any type of occasion. And lastly, I'm going to talk about Hypnotic Oud. And this is the box of Arabiyat Prestige Hypnotic Oud. Again, absolutely the same design as Hypnotic Amber, but with slightly different color combination. You get a black color instead of that reddish one with the other fragrance, and again you still get that very same gemstone thing. The same details, 100 ml bottle size, EDP concentration, and again production date of April of 2024. This is the way that Hypnotic Oud looks, exactly the same bottle design as Hypnotic Amber, only coming in sort of a darker color. Again, absolutely exact same design. As you saw, another great presentation, another great packaging, another very luxurious experience. I'm going to show you a spray in action of this one, because I love watching pressurized sprayers in action. And this fragrance is a clone of Mesa Margiela's By the Fireplace, and this one I can call a clone because this feels the closest to the original fragrance compared to Oud and smells absolutely fantastic. I really like Hypnotic Oud. Very similar, almost identical to By the Fireplace. You get the very same scent that has lots of woods, that has lots of smokiness, lots of sweetness, ambery, vanillic sweetness, sugar sweetness, but this just feels like a little bit more of a sweeter take on the scent of By the Fireplace. It's a pretty linear fragrance that doesn't change very much from the opening to the dry down. Maybe on the dry down becomes a little bit less smoky and a little bit more sweet compared to the opening, but other than that, very similar from the opening to the dry down. Masterfully blended, super nice, super smooth fragrance that I absolutely love. Very similar to the original fragrance, almost identical, especially in the air. You'll hardly tell a difference between the two fragrances, and this rivals the original when it comes to quality. Performance wise, this is the strongest fragrance out of all three that I'm reviewing today. This lasts for well over 10 hours on my skin. The projection is not super strong, it will still project nicely for about 2 hours, but the projection is more on the moderate side. but when it comes to total longevity, this is the longest lasting, pretty much a beastly fragrance. Price wise, like Hypnotic Amber, tends to cost somewhere between 55 to 60 euros here in Europe, which makes it dangerously close to the price of the original fragrance that it's cloning. But in this case, I think it's okay because the quality here pretty much rivals the original one. And versatility wise, a perfectly unisex fragrance that's definitely orientated towards the cold months of the year and definitely more of a nighttime scent. And then at the end, a few final words about the 3 fragrances that I reviewed today. When it comes to Aariz, this is a superbly done clone of Bulgari's Tiger / Suspiro Vibrato. Quality is fantastic, performance is very good, comes really nicely packaged. You get a pressurized sprayer. All around top-notch quality, as good of a quality as you can get out of a clone fragrance. But this one has one major problem, and that's the price. This is the most expensive Tiger clone that I have in my collection, and especially if you already own fragrances like Rubroca's TRM or Turati Brew from Afnan, this feels really redundant, to be honest, unless you like to collect Tiger clones. But if you are on the market for a Tiger clone and you really want the highest possible quality, then you can check out Aariz. But other than that, I think this feels a little bit redundant. And the other two, Hypnotic Amber and Hypnotic Oud. Hypnotic Amber is a very nice, very fresh, spicy, green, more Middle Eastern take on the scent of Creed Aventus and Nishane Hashivat. Unique enough, in my opinion, for people to try it out, but again has one major problem, and that's the price. It's quite expensive in my opinion. But if you're after something that will smell similar to Creed Aventus, that will smell similar to Nishane Hashivat, but at the same time will do its own thing, that has really nice quality, has really good performance, and all around feels really nice, then definitely check out Hypnotic Amber. But again, just keep in mind that this is a bit pricey, just too pricey for my personal taste. And then when it comes to Hypnotic Oud, this is my most favorite out of the 3 fragrances reviewed today. This is as good as you can get clone wise. Absolutely fantastic clone of By the Fireplace. To my nose, feels as smooth as the original fragrance. Beastly performance, better than the original fragrance. All around as good of a clone as you can get, in really lovely fragrance, and I absolutely love it. My most favorite out of the 3. So guys, in today's video I reviewed 3 superb clones from the brand of my perfumes and Arabiyat Prestige, but at the same time 3 quite pricey fragrances. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.